So I just felt someone pinch, and I can smell Nan. Huh. I could feel someone pinching my leg twice, and then my arm, and I can smell Nan. If that isn't what I'm talking about, then I don't know what is. Those aren't sensory hallucinations. You people are not allowed to take away faith from people. It's called religion and the First Amendment and their right to practice it. If you're going to allow Hindus and Buddhists to practice their religion and, say America allows religious freedom while denying me mine, yeah, let's see how that plays. In my opinion, I'm not suicidal today. Well, I'm not suicidal today. In my opinion, suicide is simply death for certain people. Stigmatizing it only makes it occur more. Because instead of saying, oh my God, suicide, we have to force them into treatment of some kind, people should take the time to listen to the traumatic backstories. Well, I'm fairly medicated and I can still walk a straight line backwards. It is different when someone's asking you. But then again, law enforcement make people with mental health problems worse because that's just part of the fun of it for them. I've only ever encountered truly 2 law enforcement officials who didn't make me a nervous wreck. Chief Mike Palmer is one of them. He seems like a good enough guy. And then one of the cops up here that I called out, but that's just because, I'm talking about my story. She seemed like a normal person, a human being. Patrick Boggs, I do not trust Mr. Boggs at all. And that's not paranoia. But Chief Palmer, he seems pretty cool, other than how he handled that shake and bake bottle. Honey, that's going to blow your arm off, not mine. I had enough, no offense, common sense to know. Pick this piece of shit up by the part of the bottle with the most integrity. The cap and the screw part of it. He grabbed that Aquafina bottle like he was grabbing his shit, and it just disintegrated. I thought, man, whatever. It would have been nice to know who it was producing it. I don't think you're going to be able to get fingerprints off of that now, other than the ones on the cat litter container that it's in. So forgive me, that's not paranoia, that's true concern. I didn't get charged with meth or anything. However, they did ask to see my ID since it was criminal activity was present. You know what? You all should have given me an expense thing to pick up another thing of cat litter, in all honesty. I find it very hard to believe that the state police would tell you to put a cooking methamphetamine product into some cat litter to diffuse it. And if that is the protocol, I'd like to ask a few more questions. It's chilly today. Man, it feels like dipping into a pool. Granted, I go through this weird shit too, whatever it is. When I'm exposed, I love it cold. I'd rather be cold than hot any day. But whenever I'm exposed to the cold, like my body starts convulsing. Like I'm being tasered or something. Granted, there could have been a cop somewhere hiding around. I don't agree with camo cops. They're dangerous. The story I talked about is true. The lyrics, well, I made them lyrical. Because if I didn't make it somewhat humorous, at least for myself, my brain would melt. So a lot of times when it looks like I can't catch my breath, it's because I'm bawling on the inside. Camo cops slipping out from behind all those cedar trees, and ninja Navy SEALs with pocketfuls of anal ease. And that's how it was for me growing up on the farm. Had to be out on the farm alone, unarmed, by 5 p.m. every night. Just like that story I told you about my father and sister, and Brandy, my cousin, going to the fair with us one time in Germantown. So she came early. Me and Mom had just gotten started milking. They told Brandy to get her ass on down to the barn to see if we needed any help. Well, sure. I mean, you can, you're clean and everything. You can feed them. You won't get too dirty doing that. That way I can just stay focused over in the milking area and help her. There were a few times I did do the milking equipment. Like if we were trying to speed things along for an outing or something. But that's just how hurtful and hateful my family was. They didn't want me touching the milking equipment. They thought I was too dirty to handle it. That's pretty sad, isn't it? Just like when Dad got more ill. Wait a minute. When did that truck... We didn't have the dairy open much longer after I think that truck overturned on him. Timing back then, after all that trauma and opiate-based pain management and all that shit, I know I was helping her during the morning milkings too, so he must have been sick. That truck must have already turned over on him or whatever. We got another citation about what's called the somatic cell count being too high, and they were like, you all have had problems with this for years off and on, and we'll give you the option to close down instead of shutting you down and permanently, disabling the farm. That way, if Russell or Carolyn wants to reopen with a different setup, they can. So we chose to just shut it on down. But Dad blamed it on me. It was my fault. It was my fault. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I know I caught that one pet cow before she died. That cow has milk fever or whatever you all call it. After having a calf, there's nothing wrong with her. And then she went down. I said, I told you. I know during my time milking, none of the cows had mastitis so bad we'd have to cut the tip of their fucking nipple off. I remember him having to do that I don't know how many times. So sickening. I don't know what in the hell was wrong with him. That's just like that water filtration thing. Those things that my grandmother had put on the water line when she was alive, she died, I think, the year before I was born, were probably full of fungus and mold. And that's probably why I used to get sick drinking the water. But I was just, there's something wrong with you. You think? And they found it amusing. They always did. If I'd suddenly have to have a bowel movement because of my GI tract, can't you hold it? No, I can't. I didn't feel persecuted by it. I felt disgusted by it. But because of their upbringing, my deaf aunt lost her hearing due to inadequate medical attention when it was necessary. To my father's side of the family, who just didn't believe in it at all, pretty much, except for their father's diabetes, and surprisingly, he medicated with insulin. I can't believe it. And the new neighbor person is in this new little Chevy thing. And watch me fucking pass out trying to get there quicker. It's some new little Chevy. What is that? I've never seen one like that. Chevy. Oh, it's an electric vehicle. Chevy something. All electric. I can hear how quiet it is now. Huh. Oh well. I hope she didn't think I was like trying to spy on her or record her. I wanted to catch a glimpse of that vehicle so I could look it up. It's one of those new little Chevy electric crossover, compact crossover things, whatever they're called. Pretty cool looking little car. Bet it gets good gas mileage, but the only bad thing with those cars, you know, Tesla has designed theirs to have some power to them. But then again, they cost, what, 80 or 90 grand? The Priuses weren't that bad, but they were a hybrid. They weren't all electric. The one thing I would love to test drive, just to see what the electric, totally electric mode is in it, is one of those new RAV4 Primes. They sound like they're the best match of about anything. Except for, say, someone who lives in Maysville. Like living here, we could drive to downtown Cincinnati and back working on all electric all the time. I'd like to know what the power's like on all electric within one of those. But they're sold out. I think it said they're sold out through next year. And that's like those diesel Escalades. You have to specially order them because most people don't go for a diesel in an Escalade, but it's a new option. 35 miles to the gallon on the highway. And Super Cruise, how in the hell could you go wrong? Well, you know, now that I'm thinking about it, I haven't seen those people for several days either. I have seen our next door neighbors on both sides, so obviously no one has come in and wiped out the whole neighborhood. People probably think that I am totally mad and ready for the knackers, but it's not quite that. I'm just highly upset that my family, which pretends to care at least in front of law enforcement and judicial officers, claim that I'm such a threat to them Oh well. My version of love never was approved. You go up to show my father affection without him asking for it? Get away from me. And I never wanted to be touched by my mother. Especially after her calling me a liar about being raped, claiming that men don't get raped. After the molestation from both of them, no, I don't believe I want you touching me. And that's just yet another sign of the trauma. I used to be better about affection between me and my mother, hugs and such. I got over it. There's no point. She'll look to Shell now for advice because that's how she was programmed. And Michael and Shell will do whatever, they want to do. It was my idea to develop the Ridgeland and not, mansion luxury homes, but nicer homes up there. Have the cable company run their services back there. But, then because of my spending, even though my mother was begging me to set up accounts for men on Facebook to send them money, my spending. So we need to unload this property. Why not? We should list it. I wanted to list it about a year ago, but because my sister's name was on it too, and my brother-in-law enjoyed hunting on it, we weren't allowed to. No, Michael likes hunting there. Well, we have a 75% majority share, so we can overrule her 25% in order to sell it to an out-of-towner who would pay a lot more money for it. No, I don't think so. So I was basically forced to sell. I didn't have a choice. I only owned 25% of what they purchased. My mother was dead set on selling it to them, so I really didn't have a choice. Thanks a fucking lot. Oh well. My apologies for defaulting on medical credit card debt, thanks to my human traffickers, including some of the banking systems, insurance networks, doctors, lawyers, judges. Thank you. Oh well. So, as I asked, what were Sammy Holloway and Jeff Smoothie Horde up to that night we wound up at Sammy's? Simple question. Oops, sorry, gotta go, fellers. I forgot my cell phone. Margot must have been on vacation. And most people see that as paranoia. It's called a panic or anxiety attack. I can understand the difficulty in discerning it, especially approaching someone you're unfamiliar with. However, making a mentally disabled person feel like even more of a shitbag because you don't believe them or because they seem outrageous doesn't help. And the forced treatment with gang members in Claremont County, where their prosecutor and whores and what was it, meth? Yeah. Oh well. So let me tell you about my Me Too moment. Because people couldn't understand Tourette's, which is a protected disability, in public. See these public easements on private property? Most of the time, it is involuntary. Especially grunting, moaning, swearing. But thanks for asking. Cannabis is approved for Tourette's, and let me tell you, it works very well for a lot of different things. Medicating at the true level that I need to be medicated at, it doesn't make me as non-functional like when I was on opiates, but you know, whatever was left of my confidence, self and otherwise, they mashed and burned with a piece of paper and a pen. We can help you with that. Take this pill. Yeah, Zoloft, Paxil, Prozac, Celexa, Lexapro, Seroquel, Zyprexa, Lamictal, Depakote, Trazodone, Elavil, Doxapen. Yeah, those pills always worked wonders for them. For me to keep my mouth shut so that they could live more lavish lifestyles. Oh well. And I'm quite sure that I didn't even mention the sedatives or the hypnotics in that list. And as I stated with that little experiment on their part, Cymbalta was the only thing that ever remotely worked, and the withdrawal from it, Eastern State Hospital put me through immediate withdrawal of a non-controlled substance. Cymbalta, that can cause seizures too. They didn't give a shit. Anyway, and the Seroquel. But the Seroquel was textbook addiction. People think that me requesting benzos and opiates for severe pain without ever knowing the whole story, well, the doctors knowing the whole story actually doing it. But then dumbasses like Patty Positek who don't even bother. Oh well. Hell, and there was something else in the tricyclic antidepressant group I tried. Well, talk it out. Yes, trying to speak to these people about what truly happened and they don't like it and start pepper spraying me for no reason. Yeah, I'm going to sit down and, cook them a nice meal. Light candles and everything. Jefferson County, albeit quite a tragedy there. If they do have a clue, well, take parts of my story and use it. I think I was 6, maybe 7, the night that skull fracture happened. The sick pieces of shit knocked afterwards. There's no point in crying about it now, because I'd gotten raped. Said it in that I was supposed to feel guilty. Well, now there's no point in crying about it now. Then I had to listen to Toni Braxton's Breathe Again on repeat, I don't know how many goddamn times. So while I simply tried to live a life, I had people like the Crawfords with their goddamn sad sob story, with their connections and protections. And there was another example I was going to make. Oh well, that's a pretty Cadillac. Damn, whatever kind that one is pretty sharp. Kind of looks like a Maybach. I don't think Mercedes makes that anymore, do they? Maybach? Good God. Man, these people drive through here like they're fucking crazy. And then they point the fucking finger at me because of foot drop. Man alive. This is another reason, another sore subject, that the sick pieces of shit who did this should be held accountable. What am I supposed to do? Bill them for a fucking chauffeur? Oh, that was another one of Lisa, whatever her last name is now, is dumbass messages. Don't narc on us if you get caught. More like when. Fuck you. They want to throw what? Promiscuity into the mix? How many times has she been married? Startled response over nothing. I knew that woman was right there cleaning her car. Scared me half to death. Jesus Christ. Quite frankly, it feels like I'm intubated. And that's how it used to happen. I'm the one who lived through it. We're tired of your mouth. Yeah, This whole goddamn mess, because of my human traffickers who had peddled me within that fucking disgusting court system for more drugs and alcohol, is unfucking acceptable. They want to talk about me, including night terrors, and what I've been trying to detail as the horror story of terrorism of my life. Let me tell you about terroristic threatening. Law enforcement threatening to kill you and burn your goddamn house to the ground. Just for talking about their fucking drug dealing pieces of shit. Then giving one of them a fucking badge in courtroom security, carte blanche, especially with the goddamn judges involved. Sorry. I'm going to apologize to her. I've seen her out I don't know how many times. I don't think it's the same neighbor. Oh well. We're gonna comb through everything looking for everything. You go right ahead. I was told by some of Mason County's people selling weird shit, don't forget where you came from. I know exactly where I fucking came from. Literally, not, for enjoyment. Wallowing in our own cattle's filth, cleaning up a mess, milking, and stripping tobacco. While you and your mother, who you lived with, had her boyfriends, and you lived in subdivision-like areas and had to be home when the street lights came on. I know where the fuck I came from. Do you? Where the fuck did you come from? Decent human beings don't sell laced drug products. It's unethical. Not to mention a huge crime. Not only the drug transaction, but the addition of lacing it. Oh, well, we didn't know. We're just the middlemen. Yeah. That's why I can trace that all the way back to the origination, too. I've been hearing the "we cannot afford you" since I was 6 years old. Industrial strength neurotoxin sprayed in my fucking face, and not an albuterol rescue inhaler in sight. So now do you understand why Kathy Roberts' stupidity and ignorance in that matter upsets me? That is pure ignorance. Their statement of, "we were unaware of what to do during a medical emergency," you should no longer be employed there. If Gerald Curtis hadn't gone over the medical emergency procedure with you people, he should no longer be there. As I said, select locals call it murder view for a reason. Date rape, falsified medical documentation backing the rapist cops' sick, sorry asses up, etc. Like I said, the last time they slammed my jaw shut, I said, pull the goddamn things. And I had a beautiful smile, beautiful all-natural smile. Drugs didn't ruin it. Me not being able to feel the pressure being applied to it and dry mouth didn't help. But them smashing my jaw shut because I would sit and voice concerns the way I do. After it shattered the last few of them, I said, pull the goddamn things. It is part of my culture and religion. I mean you no offense and no disrespect. Hello, little squirrel. What are you doing? You're probably one of the ones I feed, aren't you? What are you doing? Huh? Oh, they're so cute. See, like I said, the animals love us for some reason. I have no fucking clue what it is. No fucking clue what it is, but the animals, it's like the deer. Well, look at that deer. And its baby. And no, they weren't zombie deer. They were fully alert. Just looking for food. And no, I did not put food out to lure them in to kill them. I think that's wrong too. Putting a salt block out for them in the wintertime is iffy. Just depends on if people are hunting there or not. Oh, but like I told you, men and women who hunt, you all think that fake deer urine that has the female pheromones in it? No, that scares them. They know that it's fake. You get you some squirrels. Go squirrel hunting. Skin them. Give them to somebody if you don't want to eat them. Cut their heads off and throw them away. Prion disease is crazy. Dry the hides. Rub that all over your hunting gear. See what happens. People think that fake deer urine with the female pheromones in it. Fake urine. Attracts them? Not really. They can normally smell the fakeness of it, or at least that's what I've witnessed, being a loudmouth smoker, listening to my music, wandering up upon hunters, screwing and hunting and everything in between. Now it feels like somebody's giving me a wedgie with something. I should not walk along the street and have to fucking lift my ass cheek because it feels like somebody's rubbing it. It's called Tourette's syndrome. This is a public goddamn sidewalk and it's a covered disability. People should learn that their actions exacerbate mental health and they're fully liable for it. Only for one person to die while their hateful piece of shit family can sue for damages. How convenient. So let me tell you about Mrs. Nelson, Miss Payne, and Mr. Dunlap, and Kathleen Lofton. I can't even sit down anymore because of some dumbass cunt on my mother's side of the family. With her stupid shit. We're under martial law. We can come in whenever we want. No. You people are sicker than shit. I probably have it recorded, Donna, stating that. How many Percocet did you take today? And what dosage of that shit are you on? See how fucking sick? And she had been through hypnosis, so she knew how to do it. Well, according to her, she had. After rescuing her brother-in-law or whatever the fuck that car accident was. She had to undergo hypnosis, just like Debbie, so they knew how to do it. Oh well. Alpha Tango. Mr. Horde, statute of limitations. Ray Baguki's statement about statute of limitations on felonious child rape, sodomy, and abuse. He's a fucking idiot. He said that statute of limitations for felony offenses like that had already expired. Where in the fuck did you go to law school? How many clients on heroin do you deal with? And what else are you into that nobody else knows about? So that's the legal in Mason County, telling people that they, are just shit out of luck. Statute of limitations. So when I say I tried to do everything I could to help myself and get through it the right way, according to Mr. fucking Boggs, I did. Only for the lawyers to bitch slap it back in my face. So let them come at me. I know Mr. Baguki's clientele. I was around him long enough. Just like I know what else he likes. Cancer, huh? Oh, fucking well.